folks, welcome to Barton's Kitchen up here in Ralstown. Hope you're all keeping well. Tonight we've got a very simple salmon dish. It's so easy to do. Not many ingredients. We've got salmon obviously, and we're just going to wrap that. It's going to be baked in the oven, but we're going to wrap it in Parma ham and a few basil leaves, bake it in the oven. That will not take any longer than 6 or 7 minutes to cook. Probably 150 to 180 grams is a reasonable sized portion. I think that's on the slightly small side. That's about 140, 150 grams there, but whatever size you want. And we're going to serve it with some just wilted spinach, couscous. Couscous is a great carrier of flavours, so we're just going to do like a lemon couscous, and we're going to put some spring onions and chives in it, some lemon zest, and then we're going to serve it with like a creme fraiche, caper, lemony type dressing, nice and creamy. So the first thing we need to do is, if you turn your oven on to about 180 and boil the kettle. The couscous, you'll need to read the instructions on your packet of couscous. It's roughly equal quantities of couscous and water. This one here is slightly more water to couscous. So I have 100 grams of couscous here, and I'm going to add about 120 mils of boiling water. So it's just, this is slightly more. And what we're going to do, I find it best doing it in a stainless steel bowl. You can do it in a kiln jar, so you really want to seal it. We're going to season this. So your couscous, nice bit of salt, some pepper, a wee drizzle of olive oil. That just keeps the grains nice and separated. And then some lemon zest. Just a couple of grains of lemon zest. And we'll use the juice for the salmon itself. And what we're going to do, just for an extra wee boost of flavour, we're just going to put just a wee fingernail of vegetable stock cube in with the boiling water. That is probably a fifth or sixth of a stock cube. Just gives it a wee lift. And then we'll just give it a wee mix. Pour that into your couscous. Pour that into couscous. Give it one stir, and just while it's still hot, completely seal it with cling film. Make sure it's completely sealed. No air in it. And we'll just leave that somewhere warm. So we can now concentrate on the dressing. We'll just get that creme fraiche. Oh, this is so simple. Anybody could do this. Just creme fraiche, a couple of spoonfuls. Probably a sort of good spoonful per person. Squeeze a lemon. Good squeeze of lemon. You need that sort of acidity with salmon or any fish. Good squeeze of lemon. Some salt. Some pepper. And then we're just going to put these lovely wee capers in it. Go ahead and get it open. They are lovely. Just a couple of teaspoons of capers. They're in vinegar, so you can put a wee bit of the juice in. Just give that a mix. I'm just going to taste that, just to make sure it's, you've got the right balance of acid and salt. That's fine. That's lovely. So we're just going to put a couple of chives in it as well. You can use whatever herb you want, chives, parsley, coriander, basil, whatever you want. So I'm just going to put chives in it tonight. And we're going to keep some of these back for the couscous. Just be careful when you're cutting it, just run your knife through it. So the couscous will probably take 10-12 minutes just in that water that was boiling from the kettle. So those there are ready. So that's that ready. Just put a few of them in the chives. Give it a wee mix. That's how simple that dressing is. Really simple. So right, we'll concentrate on the fish now. So you can use Parma ham, Serrano ham, any of those sort of nice hams, you know, they're nice and salty, but salty in a nice way. So you just want one slice and put it down on your board and just peel off that plastic. And then the salmon, just put it sort of over halfway, because what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in it. And then just a couple of basil leaves, 2 or 3 basil leaves. So what we'll do first, season it. Always pepper, and then salt. Not too much salt, because the salt, you know, the Parma ham is salty. So we don't want to go too mad in the salt. So then just a couple of basil leaves. And then just wrap it. I'm going to start with this side. No, I'll start with this side. Just wrap it up. But make sure when you get to it, the join is at the bottom. And that's it. That's how simple that is. What we're going to do now is just a small sort of oven-proof tray. Just a wee drizzle of olive oil. And just set it in it. So the seal's at the bottom. You've got the basil at the top. Another wee drizzle of olive oil. Just rub it in it. And then we're going to serve it with these wee vine tomatoes. Just set in the middle of it. Wee drizzle. Just a wee sprinkling. Salt and pepper. And this will take probably 6 or 7 minutes in the oven. Will not take long. So I've got the oven preheated. So we're just going to pop that in. So 180 degrees. That's it. We're very, very nearly there. I say just waiting on the salmon to cook now. Chop the spring onion. We'll get that ready for the couscous. So just take off any outside sort of bad bits. Then just cut it in the angle. So I say, just to recap, salmon wrapped in the Parma ham, a couple of basil leaves, season it, not too much salt, but you know, plenty of pepper, and that's in the oven along with the cherry tomatoes. We've got the couscous. You need to read the quantities of your couscous on the packet. Usually just slightly more water, but some recipes give equal quantities. I have 100 grams of couscous and 150 mils of water. Put a small amount of stock in it, vegetable stock, salt and pepper, drizzle of olive oil and some lemon zest. Cover it up really, really tightly. And then what we'll do, we'll come back to that when the salmon's cooked and we'll scrape it with a fork. We'll just fork it and fluff it up, add all these nice ingredients and we'll serve it. The salmon has had about 6 or 7 minutes in the oven and it's ready. It's quite a small piece, so you can judge it, you know, maybe up to 10 minutes. But that's ready and it's nice and moist. You can see sort of the olive oil and the juices come out of it. So that's ready. But we're not going to throw away those juices. We're going to pour those into the couscous. So just remove that from the oven. The couscous, I'm not going to take the cling film off it yet, but I don't know if you can see, it's all sort of nicely separated there. But that's another couple of minutes there. So what we'll do in the meantime is we'll just do the spinach. Spinach goes perfectly with this. One thing about spinach, don't cook it in water. Either a tiny, tiny knob of butter, or I'm just going to use about half a teaspoon of olive oil. And then just put your spinach in, season up, and just on a medium heat, we're just going to wilt it down. And it looks quite a lot, but when you see it at the end, so just a wee pinch of salt, some pepper, and then just on a sort of medium heat. And what we're going to do is we're just going to, when it's cooked, we're just going to sort of dry off the excess water in it. So just give it a wee mix around. Right, salmon's cooked, tomatoes are cooked, spinach is on. We'll just go back to the couscous now. So because I give it a really good shake, it's sort of, it has separated, and I'll just show you. Look, every grain has separated there. And you can smell the lemon. It's lovely. But that's 100 grams of couscous. That's probably enough for 2 people. But let's keep some back. So spring onions in, chives in, and that's still nice and warm. You know, that's held its heat. Squeeze a lemon. We're just going to go back and check the spinach. Yeah, that's only another minute away and that'll be ready. It's just starting to break down. So we'll just keep mixing that about. So that's your couscous ready. You could put peppers in there, you could put roast courgettes. So we're just going to taste this, see what it's like, if it needs any salt or pepper. Needs both. Yeah. Couscous, great carrier of flavours. I'm just going to go with a bit more lemon juice and a drizzle of olive oil. But you could use any herb you want. Use basil, coriander, whatever you want. And that's it, that's the couscous ready. So we're virtually, as soon as the spinach is ready, if you look, every grain, if you had time you could almost count those grains. They are all separate. And that's lovely for lunch. Put some nuts in it, put some sultanas in it. It's lovely. So this here is starting to break down. Just the spinach, just keep mixing it around. And the heat of the saucepan, you can turn that off now. Just the residual heat in the saucepan will just wilt that down. So that's us, we're ready to serve. I say you don't need to pick that spinach, it's baby spinach. So we'll just drain any excess water that comes out, because it'll flood your plate. We're ready to serve. So a warm plate, that's warmish, and we'll serve up. So what we're going to do first is a big pool of the creme fraiche. Just spread it out. So we're going to put the couscous on this, that every time you sort of cut through your salmon into your couscous, you're going to get a scoop of everything. You're going to get the sauce at the bottom. So couscous, I'll just spread that out a wee bit further. So couscous in the middle, and you can see the way that's fallen off, that it's, you know, the olive oil makes a difference. Just put a drizzle of olive oil before you add the water. Presentation, you can serve it whatever way you want. A wee bed of spinach. Don't pack it down, just try and get a wee bit of height in it. And just scrape the palette knife in below it so it doesn't stick. And just balance that on top. And then your wee cherry tomatoes, just set them anywhere, just set them at the side. And then we're gonna, you can put the juices in with the couscous, but I'm just gonna pour them over the top. Don't waste them. There's always flavour in those juices. And then we're just going to finish it with just a couple of rocket leaves. So a wee squeeze of lemon, wee drizzle of olive oil, salt and pepper, and just give it a wee mix around. I say that the rocket's just an optional extra. You don't have to put it on it. It's just some rocket. And then I'm just going to finish it, just give it a wee drizzle with olive oil. And that's it, folks. It is really simple. You could maybe present it better than what I could, but that's it. It's sort of baked salmon, Parma ham with basil, spinach, couscous, and like a creme fraiche dressing. So we'll taste it just to see what it's like. But that salmon did not take long to cook, and it's still moist in the middle. So I'll just try a wee bit of everything. A nice glass of cold Sauvignon Blanc or something. It's lovely. The salmon, obviously the first thing you taste is salmon, but you get the wee salty bit of the Parma ham. You get the acid from the capers, you have the vinegar, you have the nice creamy, you have a texture in the couscous. The lemon juice lifts it. It's so important to put the lemon juice in it. So that's it, folks. Very, very simple supper dish. Coming into these spring, summer months, it's definitely well worth a go. Okay, folks, I'll get another video up for you soon. Hope you enjoy that one. Thank you. Bye.